Welcome back, everybody. You know, we are now in the middle of August, and that means a lot of young people are going to be going back to schools really soon. Some are already in schools coming up next week, I know in the South, and kids from elementary school, high school, and even college will be heading back to campus. And this, of course, raises concerns about cyberbullying, because this is a story that continues to generate headlines. And cyberbullying is a very, very tough situation to deal with for a lot of young people who have to deal with those challenges of school life and the fact that they often don't have people to turn to when they are in the midst of this situation. So we are going to be giving you some information and some advice on how to handle the threat that cyberbullying poses to adolescents. And joining us now, Hemu Nigam, who is the founder and CEO of SSP Blue and is also the co-chair of President Obama's Online Safety Technology Working Group. And he is here to give us some tips and advice on how best to deal with this problem. Great to have you on board. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Uma.
Tell me, what are your biggest concerns right now, and how best can we help our children today to deal with the challenges of cyberbullying?
Well, I think it's already hard enough, and especially as a parent of four, for parents to deal with bullying in the physical world, and even for kids to deal with it in the physical world. And then you add online component, and then the online side, what you don't see is the kid who comes home with the black eye, because on the playground you get a black eye, you come home, everybody sees it. But online, your child may be getting punched in the face or in the eye, and you're not going to necessarily see that, but they're going to feel it just as drastically. And that's why, as parents, sometimes our awareness level needs to go up about what's actually happening in their online world while they're inside their bedroom in what we may think is a safe haven behind closed doors.
Well, cyberbullying is certainly becoming more of a story, in that we are seeing the results, the tragic results that happen to some young people who are feeling as though they have no way to cope with this, and some young people have already, committed suicide over things like this, and which is really a tragic outcome to a situation that they feel is out of control. How best can parents become more aware of the potential threat, especially when, as you point out, a lot of kids just close their doors, and parents might think they're just, online talking to friends or whatever, or playing games, but they may not be aware, of course, of the threats that may be in front of their children with these cyberbullies who are ready to prey upon them.
Right. Well, Uma, one of the things that I think parents need to understand is there's this attitude out there, or maybe it's a frustration out there, where parents are feeling like, I give up, I have to lean back and be a parent, I can't do this anymore. And I think what we have to do is become lean forward parents and get engaged. And in the technology side, as much and as daunting as it may seem, and in fact, your best educators in technology are sitting inside your house, and that is your kids. And one of the things that kids love to do, and I know mine do this all the time, you ask them something, they love to teach you because, your father doesn't know something they do, or your mother doesn't. That's exciting to them. So as a parent, engage your child in an online conversation. What are they doing? What do they do when they go online? What sites are really hot right now? Where do they go visit? What kinds of things are happening? And during that conversation, bring up the topic of, well, what if somebody bothers you? What if something is happening? What if it happens to your friend? What would you do? And you will be surprised at how much info they'll give you about what they do know. But during that process, you can do what you do every single day as a parent in the real world and teach them safety lessons. Because it may be online, but the physical lessons about safety actually apply online just as well. I'll give you a simple tip for kids who understand this. Would you, as a child, go in front of your school assembly and tell the entire school what you're about to do to another child or a kid in your school? And if the answer is no, then why would you do it online? Or maybe even post something at the bottom of their computer screen. Would you want something like this to happen to you? And oftentimes kids are like, no, why would I want anybody to do that to me? That's horrible.
But what if you're the victim of the cyberbullying? But what if you're the one that's being bullied? What about, how do you best deal with that, as opposed to, obviously you have to inform your kids about why it's not cool to do that, to become a bully in the online world. But what about those who end up being the victims?
Well, I think one of the things that people who are being bullied have to understand is there is help out there. But step one on the online side, number one, don't retaliate. Use the functions that many sites already have to block the individual and save the information. Oftentimes as parents we say whatever you leave online could haunt you forever. But in this particular case, as a victim of cyberbullying, that evidence can become very important for parents to see and school officials and teachers. That's one thing. Another is that there's a great place on Facebook, actually, that's a find help location where you can go in one place and get help on child abuse. You can get help on drug abuse and alcohol, in eating disorders, all sorts of things, suicide help. And I think what children need to understand is online they can go. You may do a Google search with tons of results, or go to one place that has it all. And the positive is right now in the experts community, there is a movement to put all of these things together in one place in many different locations around the internet. So, because you never know where a kid is going to go when they're looking for help. And so we might, as our part, put it in as many places as they can see.
No, that's really good to know, and it's good to know for, advice for kids and parents out there about what you just pointed out about resources to turn to. Really quickly, though, is cyberbullying in and of itself is on the rise overall across the country?
Well, I think it's on the rise in the sense that more people are using technology as part of their day-to-day medium. And if they're bringing in their physical into their online, you're definitely going to see an increase. Does that mean that there's a whole bunch of more bullies out there? That's also quite possible until society starts understanding that what you're doing online is just as harmful as what you would do physically, and therefore behave the same way, be as respectful, be as kind to other individuals as you would want them to be to you.
All right. Hemu was very great advice, and thank you so much for joining us with your perspective on all this. Certainly it's a very serious issue and one that we need to take quite seriously as we look forward to more of our children returning to school this fall. Thank you. Okay, we are